take a little bit of a dive into some United States women's national team things, right? Talking about the settlement, talking about points that she wants to see, right, in the next CBA, right? So it's a good one. Everybody should check it out if they can. Something else I'm also really excited about, Lisa, is it's March. So we've got March Madness coming up. Let's talk about it really quickly. March Madness is March 17th through April 4th. Attacking Third listeners, we want you to compete with us in a bracket challenge game. I'm going to be in there. Lisa's going to be in there. We're going to have former United States women's national team star Lori Lindsay a part of that. You know, our social media guru Sydney will be participating with us, and we want you to join along in the fun as well. You can join us at cbssports.com, and the winner will get a $100 gift card to Paramount Plus. And who really out there just enters just one pool? You can create your own, create a group to compete against other friends, and you can fill out your bracket for a chance to win a Nissan Rogue and a trip to the 2022 Final Four. You can play on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com, and the link will be in the description of this episode. So go ahead, see if you can beat me. I'm sure someone out there can. Right?
I challenge everyone to try to beat me. I love March Madness. I love making brackets. I love college basketball.
Okay,
I'm very good. I host a few for my friends. And I'm challenging Attacking Third listeners now. Let's go.
Okay. Oh my God. Lisa's putting people on notice. I love that. Energy. Let's go with that. You know, that's why they call it Madness, right? March Madness. We'll see.
Madness. And let's go, Marquette.
There you go. You got it. I was about to say, you always got to rep your set. I love that. Let's I'm excited. Let's see if people join along with that. Let's jump in. Let's dive back into women's soccer content. Let's chat a little bit about some news that's dropped to talk about and kick things off this week. The United States women's national team announcing their friendlies for the next upcoming international window already. It's going to be taking place in April. They announced the matches on April 9th and the 12th versus Uzbekistan. The United States will be playing these matches in Columbus, Ohio, and in Chester, Pennsylvania. And this is going to be the I think the 10th time that they've played, in Columbus, Ohio, and it's going to be the 8th visit to Subaru Park, which is also the home of the Philadelphia Union of MLS. But I think the biggest takeaway from between this coming out of this news drop, Lisa, is that they're set to play this pair of friendlies against Uzbekistan. It's going to be the very first meeting of all time between both of these programs, and they're not just going to play one, but they're going to play two matches against each other. And Uzbekistan ranked 45th overall in the FIFA rankings. So maybe a little bit of a mixed reaction, right? When we're seeing a little bit of news like this drop, we're coming off of a She Believes Cup title win, really, for this United States women's national team. And there was the narrative there, right? Within that, like there were a couple storylines of, hey, younger roster, coaching staff wanting to see or get additional looks at younger players, sort of next gen players. And the opposition that they were facing is different from maybe when the She Believes Cup tournament first was introduced and founded, right? Where there was sort of this concept of like, oh, the top 10, you can watch top 10 ranked teams in the world go head to head, and it sort of evolved into a little bit different and branched out and expanded into other teams and other participating regions, right? So we started to see the integration of CONMEBOL teams, other CONCACAF squads in the mix, right, and other Asian federations. And now for this international window in April, the one that takes place right after She Believes Cup, is going to feature games against Uzbekistan. So when I saw that right away, I'm like, there's a real possibility that we might continue to see a little bit of a trend here, Lisa, right? Like we might see another young roster. What were some of your impressions when you saw this news drop?
As a lot of fans, I'm sure we're reading this release and looking at it and saying, why are they even playing Uzbekistan? What is a lot of times fans look at this and kind of blame the competition as to how it's not going to challenge this team. However, I really enjoy this because it's a chance for them to actually play, to travel to some different cities. I mean, they're coming to Philly, so I'm obviously excited about this. But it's a chance for them to play and play in games, which isn't always an opportunity. And I think that it speaks a lot to U.S. soccer and Vlatko Andonovski saying, okay, here's a FIFA window. We're going to play in it. We're going to compete somehow, even if it's against a 45 ranked team and it's going to be the same competition back to back. But we're going to give it a chance to showcase younger players, showcase different formations, different styles, which we already saw in the She Believes Cup. It also gives them a chance to travel to different parts of the country. I mean, going back to Ohio and Columbus is a huge fan base for the United States women's national team. And then getting to come to Philly, it's also doing I almost want to say like grassroots work of promoting themselves across the country, because this is a great opportunity for young players in Columbus and in Philly to go watch them play live. So like there's a whole other aspect of that. But also when you are playing, which the US rosters typically have been over the last few roster breakouts from She Believes, and I'm sure for these friendlies it will as well, be younger, less capped players. You don't want to throw them up against top 5 teams in the FIFA rankings. You want to give them almost like softballs a little bit. I mean, not horrible softballs, but you want to give them competition that is going to test them and stretch them and make them think and actually give them the confidence. So then when they are facing a Spain, a Germany, a Canada, they have the confidence to score goals and to be dominant because they've already done it. They're not climbing this mountain anymore. They're sitting on top of the confidence mountain, and now they're just putting their skills to the test. So I like this. I mean, it is what it is. We're getting games, and that's pretty fun as well, right? But we'll kind of see how it unfolds and see what happens. I do expect a younger roster, and I kind of expect to see some different things from this team.
I think considering the opposition, that's got to be the next step. Play around a little bit. Maybe you see some different things, mix it up. We saw with the drop of this news, we're actually reacting to it, not in real time, but within the same timeline of that it was recently announced. So we're seeing additional reporting adjacent to the news that they will be playing these friendlies in April against Uzbekistan, talking a little bit about why the opposition is Uzbekistan, that there are sources saying that there was actually a top team from Asia that was, sort of aimed to be the opposition during this window, but a combination of required quarantines, government regulations made travel a little bit difficult, right? So reporting from both Meg Linehan and Jeff Kassouf that we're seeing on this type of stuff, and thinking about how this window of time in April for us, Lisa, we know we just got done covering CONCACAF women qualifiers, right? And that was just the preliminary round of that. The second wave of matches for CONCACAF qualifiers will be taking place over the course of the same window. And then you also have UEFA with, European, matches sort of also taking place. So the difficulty of scheduling top flight teams, right, so to speak, with this combination of scheduling issues and also the pandemic still impacting this type of scheduling is what ultimately made the option of like, hey, do you play this window or do you not play this window, and who can you find to play this window? And we know that the United States women's national team, more than maybe any other national team in the world, is a team that constantly finds themselves getting together, having camps, playing games. I don't think it's an option to not take the opportunity to participate in this window, right? So because
especially when the pool of players is changing and young and right, like take every opportunity you get to play a game.
Yeah, so because of that, that's where we're at. Like you said, this is the opportunity that's in front of it. So I'm sure other things will come out, right? We'll probably see a roster that will eventually drop in terms of the players who will be participating in these two matches, and we'll get to maybe chat a little bit more about what we think we could see out of that. But United States set to participate in a couple of friendlies for April 9th and April 12th against Uzbekistan.